Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina and I am the makeup enthusiast. In today's video I am doing my April update on my Pan Those eyeshadows. I believe this is my 4th update for the year, so I will let you know how I went on all of my eyeshadows this month. I do have 2 pans from April, so if you want to see what those pans are, then keep on watching. But before we get into the update, if you are new around here and you haven't already and you like project panning videos or any other beauty related content, I hope you'll consider subscribing down below. And without further ado, let's jump on into the video. So as I said, I do have 2 pans from April. I did take 2 weeks holiday in April, and for the majority of that time I wasn't wearing any makeup, or if I was wearing makeup, I wasn't wearing my Pan Those eyeshadows. So there is a lot less progress on these shadows than there normally would be. But all things considered, I'm still super happy with my progress considering I did hit 2 pans. And I will leave a photo on the screen now of the color story that I was working on in April. I will start with the shadows that I didn't do any progress or didn't do any uses on this month to get them out of the way. The first one is this shadow here. This is the Melt shadow in the color Fixated. This is from the Lovesick stack. This is what it is still looking like. Unfortunately, this one is very slow and steady. I'm hoping that in the next month I can get maybe between like 3 and 5 uses on this one. At the moment now, considering how much progress I've made over the last 4 months, I definitely think that I can get it done by the end of the year, but I think this is probably going to be one of the ones that's going to take me the longest, just considering like how little I have used it since I first rolled it in. It's not a shadow that I naturally gravitate towards. I really need to like force myself to use it. But I really think that I can get it finished by the end of the year. I'll be very happy with myself if I can get it done by the end of the year. If I can get it done before then, I'll be an even happier chappy. But we shall see how we go on that one. Then the next one I will show you is the other shadow that has been in here for the longest. I believe this may have been in since the start of the year. This is the Fenty Snapshot eyeshadow palette. This is in number 9 Wine. In this palette, I'm working on the color Pinot Please, which is the deep matte purple at the bottom in the middle here. Now, I did actually over this past month accidentally kind of like, when I was trying to open it, I accidentally gouged out a part of the pan. So I have had a little bit of a helping hand along with this one. So based on that, I do think that maybe I might be able to get pan on this one by the next update, or definitely the one after that. I do think that I still probably need to do a fair few more uses on it. I'm currently sitting at 20 uses in total on this one. I don't think I will see pan on this one but until between the 30 and 40 uses now. So I definitely want to, over the next month, maybe get up to that between like 5 to maybe 15 uses on this one over the next month. And then after that, I definitely think that I might be able to see the pan on this one, thanks to my little help along. So that's what this one is looking like. And as you can kind of see in there, you can see the little gouge out. And as I said, probably pan by the next update, considering I accidentally gouged out a fair bit. So that's the 2 that have been in for the longest. I'll let you know how I'm going on the ones that I rotated in last month. So last month came in my Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. In this palette, I rolled in Sequin Story, which unfortunately was probably the shadow in the palette that I was least hoping for, I guess second to the matte black. And it's one of those ones that is the matte shadow with the glitter dispersed through it, which I really don't like formulas like that, but I have been using it. It's this one here, the orange one. I've used this one 4 times, so definitely not that much, but I think had I not had my 2 weeks of holidays, I would have definitely got some more uses out of this one. So over the next month, I'm hoping that I can get this one closer to the 10, maybe over 10 uses. And then I think I will definitely be able to see a very noticeable dip starting to appear in that pan. One thing I will say about having rotated this palette in is I definitely think I am getting a lot more use out of the palette in its entirety, given that like the colors kind of pair well together and it's kind of laid out as a neutral palette. And there's not really any other neutrals that I have rotated into this project at the moment. So I have been getting a lot of use out of like the metallic row, particularly Aura Metallic and Metallic Soothe, so these two. And then I have been getting some use out of the mattes along the bottom as well. So I do think rotating this one in has definitely allowed me to get a good use out of the entire palette as opposed to just one eyeshadow. The next one is the Colourpop It's My Pleasure palette, and this one did come in last month as well. I'm currently working on the colour Do or Do, and I have used this one 4 times as well. Do or Do is this one up the top here. This one up the top. So it does have a bit of a dip going in it. I did actually use this one yesterday on my nails. So the shadow that you can see on my nails is this one mixed in with the Bare Minerals one that you'll see in a moment. So I do have a bit of a dip showing in this one. I don't love this one out of this palette. I probably would have preferred one of the other shimmers, but it definitely is giving me a bit of a challenge. On my lids today, I actually have this color, Mr. Sandman, on, like the shimmer on my lids is Mr. Sandman mixed in with like 3 different other palettes, but Mr. Sandman's on my lid today, along with, I think, the Fenty shadow and some of the shadows from my Hindash palette. Yeah, and I really like how it turns out. I thought at one stage that it was going to turn into like a hot mess, but I actually really like how it turned out. I think choosing to go with this one as opposed to this one on the lid definitely took it down the path that I was wanting it to go down. 4 uses on the Do or Do, and again, I do think that I will be able to get some more uses out of that one, and I do think it currently pairs well with my nail polish that I have in my Team Project pan, so you'll probably see a lot more uses coming on this one. That's the 4 shadows that I need to update you on. Now I'm going to show you the 2 pans that I have. The first one is one that I believe has been in since the start of this year's project. It is the other melt shadow that I have been working on. It is the melt shadow from the Gunmetal stack, and this is Industrial. Now I managed to hit pan on this one, I think not last week, the week before, because I did my nails again and I used this as a shimmer over the top of a black. It looked phenomenal over a black nail polish, and that is what helped me reach pan on this one. And I used this one only another 2 times to hit pan, but that's because when I do my nails and I use a shimmer as a nail polish, I use a fair bit of it. Like I have to kind of dig in there a little bit more than I normally would for my eyeshadows. So able to hit pan on that one only after 7 uses in total, but again, it was because I was using this one quite a lot for nail polish. And then the last one that I need to update you on is from my Bare Minerals palette. This is the Bare Minerals Aurora Lights palette. In this palette, I'm working on the color Catch Me If. This was one that I rotated in again. It was one that was in my Roulette Pan collab from last year. And my goal was to hit pan. I didn't quite hit pan, but I knew I was very close. I managed to hit pan on this one after another 5 uses, and that is this one just here. So this takes me to a total of 6 pans in this palette, which I am very happy with. Very happy to see some really good use on this palette now. I am considering that maybe this could be a potential pan that palette at some point in the future. I do get worried about loading myself up too much with eyeshadow palettes, but I do think this would be a really good candidate at some point in the future for a pan that palette, just considering how small the pans are. And I find it quite easy to hit pan on shadows in this palette just because they're so small, and it's a great formula. I always like to reach for this palette. That is the last one that I need to update you on. So because we have two pans, I am going to rotate both of these out. I need to grab a palette or an eyeshadow that I myself select out. So that is to replace the Bare Minerals Catch Me If. And then I need to rule out one more shadow from my spreadsheet to replace the Melt Industrial eyeshadow. So I will bring my spreadsheet up and we shall rule it from that. I do believe my spreadsheet is now up to date. I think I finally have everything on my spreadsheet. Okay, so I have 144 options to choose from. So that includes my palettes as well as my single compacts I have on this spreadsheet. And we want to just roulette one new shadow. So let's see how we go. So we have 104. Ooh, actually, this is really exciting. So 104 is my Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. I was actually mentioning in my eyeshadow palettes collection video that I did want to give this palette some more love. So I think this is fantastic that this one is coming in. And I do believe she is sitting right behind me here. And that also brings me to the shadow that I am going to hand select myself. And I think I'm going to grab for my Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette, which is also behind me. Now, I'm not entirely sure which shadow I'm going to pick from this palette because I think that they could all be very good contenders. I do think I want to pick for one of the shimmers, however. But to start off with, I'm going to roulette the shadow from my Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. And then based on that, we might gauge which one we're going to pick from the Norvina palette. So there's 12 shadows to choose from in the Queen of Hearts palette. And let's see which one we get. We have number 9. Okay, so number 9 is the color Noblewoman. That is this one here. Let me do a little bit of a swatch. That is Noblewoman. And now from my Norvina palette, this is the one that I'm hand selecting myself. I am going to grab for the color Rose Gold. That's this one here. And on the swatch, Rose Gold is the one that is next to the one from Queen of Hearts. So this is the Queen of Hearts Noblewoman, and then this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Rose Gold. So I just think Rose Gold will pair well with either the Fenty shadow. I'm going to rotate that one in. I might probably regret it, but I do really want to see some pans on more of my Anastasia palettes. And I do find the Anastasia formula it's fairly easy to hit pan on. I think I have three of my 5 Anastasia palettes don't have any pan on them. So if I could definitely add a pan to each of them, I would be very happy with that. But that does conclude my update for April. I will leave on the screen now my new color story. Again, I think it is a little bit disconjointed and it doesn't really all work well together, but I will work with it. I'll play around with it and see what I can create using the color story I have now. That's it for this video. If you did enjoy it, I hope you would give it a big thumbs up. If you are new around here and you do like watching project panning content, I hope you'll consider subscribing down below. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope that you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I hope that you're staying safe, healthy, and looking after yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, beautiful.